How many out there have gotten their COVID vaccine shots? Well, I got mine, and I am sufficiently to say I'm fully vaccinated. I got in and out quick, but I did have a little something to pass the time. This little puppy, which has 3 games on it. Galaga, Galaxian, and Xevious. As I was waiting for the shot, or for the shot to be finished, I decided to play some games to pass the time. Started with Galaga, went to Galaxian, even did Xevious a time or two. I also had Super Mario Brothers with me, but I'll save that for a later time. But for right now, this is a video to encourage people to get their vaccines. There are... Thank you. There are a lot of people that have communities they'd love to get back to. Church communities, gamer communities, or even scouting. Let's get vaccinated so we can get back to our family and friends and the communities we all love. A sequel to Galaxian, which will be covered later. Galaga was developed by Namco and released through Bally Midway. Bally Midway was also the company that released Pac-Man, also a Namco creation. Galaga was, like its predecessor was supposed to be, a take on Space Invaders and was also supposed to rival it. With Galaga, there are several differences. For one, you get to attack the invaders while they are forming, and you're also in deep space while you are facing the invaders. You can also be captured and brought into their service, losing a life, as they are doing here, trying to capture you. You can blast the invader and releasing the ship. When you do that, you can form up as a double. Back at it again, and the invaders are starting to form, and you also get blasted. They attack you while they are forming, and lost the game. Oh well. Here we go. Give it another try. Alright. That's the player. And of course the music. The aliens start to reform. They'll also attack you while they are reforming. You also must... well, you blast them before they can completely form on you. Reducing their numbers so you don't have to face too many. That could have been better. Well, and here we go again. And yeah, this is not exactly one of my best plays, is it? Well, and they circle, the last two circle around while they dive bomb you. And there we go. Galaga is considered an instant classic. It's also the sequel to Galaxian. But you don't get around too much without hearing a mention of Galaga. It starts out on the Space Invaders format, where you've got aliens marauding from the top of a screen and swooping down on you. But unlike Space Invaders, which is like a very slow bump, 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 the aliens in Galaga, they swoop down on you. And they can even capture you. and join you in your fleet until the next pilot in your listing comes to the rescue and rescues you. Then you join up and you do double barrel until one ship is destroyed and then the other one follows. It's a very fun game to pass the time, and it keeps track of your score. I still love to play it, especially if you're waiting around something and need to take your mind off things. Let's see if Galaxian's any better. Developed by Namco and released through Bally Midway, Galaxian is the first game, with Galaga being the second, that is a take on Space Invaders by Taito. But instead of manning a gun battery on a planet, you are manning a space cruiser in space, and also, they don't come down on you in a steady beat. Rather, they can come out of formation and dive bomb you, blasting you the whole way through. If you are short on enemies, then they will continue to come down and fly over you and dive bomb you until you are destroyed or the level ends. Yeah, that was pitiful. So, gotta bench that. And here we go with another take on it. Again, the enemies are reformed. Up top is the boss enemies, the two ships up top, and you have to blast through the lesser ships to get to it. They stay in space and do not come down on you like Space Invaders. Rather, they come out of formation and come flying towards you, blasting the whole way through. This is a pretty good first game in the Galaxian Galaga series. Galaga being the sequel that surpassed the original. Both were intended as rivals to Space Invaders, and both have their own unique features, which classic gamers enjoy greatly. Okay, that was bad too. But Galaxian is the original to Galaga, and probably not as intense. They don't swirl around and rejoin the fleet. Here they are up top and they just come down at you. I haven't run across any captures in that. I'm not saying there are any. But if you're just wanting something a little more slow-paced and not as intense as Galaga, Galaxian may be the one for you. Next up, Xevious. Xevious is a game where you really have to keep one eye on the sky and the other on the ground. The flying enemies come at you in circles and don't necessarily attack, but the ground enemies do seem to attack, and you gotta keep your eyes open on them. So, split focus here, but you also, well, like I said, eye on the sky and eye on the ground. This was another Namco developed game, but instead of being distributed through Midway, it was distributed through Atari. It has been said to pay homage to a lot of shows like Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, the classic original. Ooh. Got that. And UFO. And when I was playing this, sometimes it takes a while to get to a certain level. Yep. Ground attackers are the ones that have away the most. I've not known a flying enemy to come and get you. But as I progressed, sometimes the enemies become a little different. And you have to change your focus a little. And split the focus between the ground and the air. It's hard to focus on both. A lot of times I have trouble with the beginning levels of this. This is... Ooh, got blasted again. And the ship you're flying is called the Sovolo. You're trying to stop the Xevious Empire from taking over. And this is something that's scary. Flying walls. And you can't blast them. Your blasters pretty much bounce off them. The best you can do is evade them. So there's definitely some surprises here. I got a few ideas about flying walls. And of course there are bigger targets here to take out as well. But very challenging game and also very fun. I picked this up a time or two when I don't put in a Galaga. Sometimes I change over to Galaxian, but this is the one that I find I'm drawn to the most when I play with the green gaming device from my arcade. And, yep, bigger enemies, and I got blasted. Xevious, you kind of gotta multitask. You gotta blast away the fighter planes coming at you, but you also have to take out ground defenses as well. And apparently, I also found out there are blast shields in this version. And it's like an entire wall or just a few sections coming at you. But you blow away shots on the ground, shots in the sky, and it can be a pretty impressive and fun little game to play. All in all three games that I played on this little thing really helped pass the time with me. And they play a little differently on this. With Galaga, the highest score you had to beat was 20,000. On this, it's 30,000. And I didn't get as far as the blast shields on this thing, but on an arcade version, yeah, it's quite the ride. And, of course, Galaxian, just nice, calm little game to play. Still pretty much the same as the arcade. All in all, these were good games to pass the time as you're waiting for your vaccine shots. Both of them. And so, to conclude this, I ask and urge everyone to get their COVID vaccines. There's so much for us to do and so little time to do it in. Rejoin our communities, go back to our cons, see family and friends again. So I say, go for the vaccine. We've got friends to meet. Don't forget to click and subscribe.